Just finished mowing my lawn. Now I just had to wait for the city to finish mowing our center island. Anyways, today is one of my EDOs, and I don't have much to do in the garden. I mean, I've got some tinkering to do and some putzing to do, but I mean, that's kind of the way I like it. But first, I gotta go shoot a video. So, let's get to it. Well, that took about 4 seconds to shoot that entire episode. Anyways, with the garden fully planted, I don't have terribly much, to do in the garden. And as you guys all know, I've been kind of working towards a garden method that is far less labor intensive. And that's mostly to do with the fact that I want to eliminate the chores, and I really just want to enjoy my time in the garden. I have stuff to do that usually doesn't make it into videos, and I'll do that today as part of the vlog. But it's all kind of, tinkering and puttering around the garden instead of kind of labor-intensive chores. Doesn't mean I don't get to spend a bunch of time in the garden. I just get to do it with things that take, a moment or two. Well, hello, Danger. Danger loves to visit me when I'm shooting videos. Anyways, so I'm going to get to some things in the garden and kind of quickly chat about them. They're usually not things that make it into videos, but hey, let's get the work done. First is weeding. Even with all the mulch that I use, weeding still needs to happen. It doesn't take very much effort though. I usually see them and pluck them as I go. I wouldn't even consider weeding a chore anymore because it's, I do it as I move through the garden. There's so few weeds when you use mulch that it really is just something you do without even thinking about it now. The next thing I have to do is a little bit of maintenance on my grapes. I'm gonna trim off the winter kill and tie them up so that the grapes kind of make a nice wall and don't take over my limited walking space. It's usually fairly easy to figure out what parts of your grapevine are dead. They come off, they're dry, they're brittle. You can do this in the spring. You probably should do this in the spring, but this is the first year that my grapes have overwintered, so wanted to make sure that I wasn't cutting off anything alive that may produce for me, because these are my family heirloom grapes, and I'd really hate to do anything to hurt them. Oh, hello, Mr. Honeybee. We've had honeybees swarming our raspberry patch, which is fantastic. I'm really pleased to see them. Anyways, in the spring, if you're going to do this, basically what you need to look for is the difference in color in the bark of the vine. Dead will kind of go like a light gray or black. The rest of it will be kind of a lighter brown. You can also look when you make cuts. If it starts to bleed, that's live wood. You can just stop there. Let's start training them right now. I like to use this Velcro garden tape. It works really well. It's reusable, and I try not to interfere too much. In the future, I would like to set this up so that I have one main trunk and then kind of a main horizontal, another horizontal up here, and then I let the second year wood fruit and just basically prune it like a vineyard would, but I think that's going to take me some time. Anyways, this tape, all I really do is I just make sure that stray vines that are kind of heading out towards the walking path are taken care of. I might take this one up. They're kind of, the Liguri ones are doing better than the Lampy one. They're about a year older anyways, year or two older. So I'm going to try to give the Lampy one some space to grow and kind of train the Liguri one into another area, or just simply behind. But I'm going to get to the rest of this. It's fairly simple to do. And the last kind of chore that I'm going to do today is I'm going to prune my tomatoes. They're growing quite well, doing exactly what tomatoes are supposed to do. Grow aggressively, flower lots, and hopefully produce a lot of fruit. But I prune my tomatoes because I cram a lot into a small space, and while pruning the tomatoes will reduce the overall harvest or yield of each plant, it means I can cram more plants together and they take less space up, meaning I get to enjoy a bunch of different varieties and grow more in my garden that's just not tomatoes. But I've got a bunch in containers and I've got some up here, so I'm going to quickly go through and prune the suckers just to give them that that head start. And usually I do this kind of once a week or once every 2 weeks. Try to keep it kind of once a week. It's a little easier to do at that point. Anyways, let's get to it. I pruned the tomatoes that are in the containers all the way down, and the reason is I planted these quite deep. So what I'm going to do is now fill the rest with compost and potting soil so that even when they're in containers, they've got a good deep rooting system, allowing me to conserve some water and to help them get through the hottest days of the summer. I don't like to leave what I've pruned off my tomatoes near the tomatoes, and the reason is blight. Blight is a fungal disease that comes from the soil, and if you give it a chance to get a hold, it can do a lot of damage. So I just toss it there on top of my compost pile. The sun will cook it this afternoon, really making it quite hard for the blight to get established. The other thing I like to do in the garden is, usually as I'm in here doing my little chores, is to observe. I really like just learning about the plants and seeing how they're doing and taking photos. If you want to keep up to speed on the urban garden and the progress, I usually post fairly frequently on my Facebook page. There's a link in the description below. I mean, today I found my strawberries are growing quite well, and they're starting to put on fruit, both my Seascape and my new pineapple strawberry, which I've decided is going to be my ground cover for my heirloom grape bed, and that my Chicago fig, which I just got this year, is putting on figs before my 2 other ones are. So I'm quite pleased about that. I love figs. It's just nice to spend some quiet time in the garden. It lets me think and unwind from the day, and you know, I get to learn about my plants and share that with you guys. But overall, especially on a day off when no one else is around, it's quiet. It's just a way to recharge. Gardening is a hobby, something I enjoy, something I look forward to. So it's time for me to go and get my son from day home. Today I think I'll take the bike and trailer. I'd love to know what your favorite thing to do in the garden is, now that it's all likely planted and it's just time to enjoy. Thank you for spending time with me today. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a fantastic day.